What's happening? Why does my sewing machine do this? What's going on with the fabric under the presser foot? My fabric is bunching up and it doesn't look nice. And here are all these puckers. They are really ugly. Now my presser foot won't move anymore, which is really frustrating. What could be causing these issues? Did it happen to you too? Do you know what to do in this case? Well, there is a solution. A walking foot attachment for a sewing machine. Use a walking foot and you will not have these problems. Hi, this is Olga from hberry.com. My channel is all about sewing and I'm so glad you are here. In this video, I will show you how to use a walking foot. What it is, how it works, and why you might need one. If you don't have time to see the whole video now, press the like button below, and the video will be saved in your liked videos folder, and you can come to this tutorial later when you have time. So, this is the foot. There are other types of walking feet for sewing machines, but this is the most common type. Bulky, weird-looking presser foot. To use it correctly, you need to know its parts. This is a presser foot lever, called an arm sometimes. This lever fits over the screw that secures the machine needle in place and goes up and down as the needle moves. This is a foot clamp for attaching the foot to the machine with a screw. On the bottom, there is a sole that resembles a standard presser foot. But the most important part of a walking foot is the feed dogs that are built into the foot and work similar to the feed dogs that any sewing machine has. Just in case you don't know what feed dogs are on a sewing machine, short, thin metal bars, they are called teeth. They are located below a throat plate. They move the fabric under the presser foot. The feed dogs of a walking foot can be made of metal too, but some of them are made from plastic. How does a walking foot attachment work? Let me show you first how a regular presser foot works, so you will understand better the walking foot features. So, the needle is going up and down, and together with the needle, feed dogs under the needle plate go up and down and move the fabric and push the fabric through the machine. So, when you sew multiple layers of fabric, the feed dogs under the presser foot grab or touch and move only the bottom layer, and the top layer is moving too, but only because it's attached to the bottom layer and the presser foot presses them together. In this case, the top layer may shift as a result of uneven feeding. And this is exactly what's happening when you sew heavyweight fabrics, slippery fabrics, when you have multiple layers in a quilt. Thick fabrics cannot easily move under the presser foot, and the top layer cannot move in unison with the bottom layer. But if you use a walking foot that has its own feed dogs, the top and bottom layers are moving in unison when the needle is moving. The machine's feed dogs move the bottom layer, and the walking foot feed dogs move the top layer. This process eliminates uneven top and bottom layers feeding and also reduces puckering. Almost any modern sewing machine, not any vintage machine, can use a walking foot. However, not every sewing machine can use every brand or style of walking foot. In this tutorial, I want to show you how to install the most popular type of walking feet that's suitable for many brands of home sewing machines. This type. Attaching a walking foot to your sewing machine is a pretty straightforward process, although it may seem hard at first. To start, turn off your machine because you might accidentally press the start button on your machine, or even another button, or press the pedal and the machine will start. It may be dangerous and cause injury. Manually raise the needle into the highest position by turning the hand wheel toward you. Raise the presser foot lever. Press the button on the presser foot holder and remove the snap-on presser foot that was on the machine before. Remove also the presser foot holder, sometimes also called adapter, from your sewing machine. You will probably need to use a screwdriver to loosen the presser foot holder screw. Don't lose the presser foot holder. Put it in a safe place. You will need it for all other presser feet. Bring your walking foot around the back of your shank. Place the lever so that the claw part fits around the needle bar, or sit on the bar for some machines. Make sure the needle is not bent and is right above the walking foot opening. The correct placement of the presser foot lever is very important for the feed dogs in the walking foot and the machine to work in unison. So slide the walking foot onto the shank and tighten the screw in place with a screwdriver. Now test the attachment to make sure the needle doesn't touch the sole of the foot. Just make a few stitches manually by turning the hand wheel. To remove a walking foot, turn off your machine and just loosen the shank screw. Use a screwdriver if needed. Pull the walking foot off toward the back of the machine. Replace it with the presser foot you need for your next project. Don't forget to attach back the presser foot holder. Now I can properly sew many types of difficult to manage fabrics. For example, for leather and vinyl. A walking foot makes working with them so easy if you like to make bags or pouches, for example. You can use a twin needle with a walking foot. If I want to use a twin needle, I need to add a separate thread stand for the second spool of thread. And after that, I can thread both needles. The threads are going through exactly the same threading sequence. You will need to adjust thread tension for the fabric when using a twin needle. As you can see, it works great for top stitching vinyl. I often use this combination, twin needle and walking foot. I use it to hem stretchy items made from knit fabric, for example leggings. The walking foot works well on knits, not on all kind of knits, but on many. It eliminates tunneling that you can often get with a regular presser foot. Well, the threads were practically invisible with this pattern, so I repeated the process on black fabric. Speaking of knits, you can sew some types of knit fabric easier with the walking foot. This foot helps to keep the fabric moving through the machine without stretching. It doesn't work always, and it's better to use a serger for sewing knits, but sometimes it helps. I am making a stitch here on my test knit fabric from old leggings. I'm using a special stretch stitch, sometimes called lightning stitch. It resembles a lightning pattern. You can use a walking foot with a seam guide. It's a metal piece that you can attach to most walking feet. This quilting guide slides on the fabric as you sew, and it helps to keep your lines straight and evenly spaced as you quilt. In my sewing machine manual, this seam guide is called quilting bar, but I guess there are other names for this tool. It's really easy to attach. Just find a small hole on the back of your walking foot, insert the quilting bar into the hole and slide the bar back and forth to set the width of the seam you want. Not all walking feet will have the hole. All the models might be without one. My seam guide attachment from the sewing machine accessories extends to a maximum width of around 2 inches, but there are longer seam guides available. Quilting is one of the most common uses for a working foot because the foot works wonders to keep all the layers of the fabric moving through the machine without bunching up. Quilters use many different techniques for quilting with a working foot, and one of them is stitch in the ditch. If you want your seams to be nearly hidden, use your working foot to sew precisely on the line. Stitch in the ditch means that you sew exactly along the seam lines. Proceed slowly because you want to make sure your needle stays where you want it to be. A working foot will greatly help you to avoid puckering. You see, I managed to sew stitch in the ditch well. The thread is practically invisible, and if I would use a red thread, it would be much better. Now let's talk about what stitches to use with a working foot. This foot likes to stick with the straight stitch and is made mostly for forward moving stitches. It works well with zigzag stitches too, because zigzag is also a forward moving stitch. That said, this presser foot usually doesn't work with reverse stitching and some decorative stitches that require the fabric to move from side to side. You can use many of the decorative stitches on your sewing machine with your working foot. Just don't use multi-directional stitches that require backwards and sideways motions, and those that are too wide for the foot. You can experiment. Don't be afraid to try some decorative stitches you like, but test them on scrap first. Manually move the wheel to test the sequence so you can make sure that it's working for your fabric. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you are new to the channel, thank you so much for subscribing and coming over here. But I have much more information on my site. For example, what stitch lengths to use with the working foot, common mistakes people make while using a working foot, when should you not use your working foot, what types of working feet are available, and many other questions. So check the links in the description box and go to read my tutorials.